4 Midwest Guys presents Mandalorian Review.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to 4 Midwest Guys Presents The Mandalorian Review. We're finally here at the Season 2 finale episode 8, Chapter 16, The Rescue. And oh, what an episode it has been and was, and what a season it has been and was. Guys, let's do we got a lot to talk about. Let's do introductions, my bad. I'll be nice. I'm your host, B. Willie, and with me today is my daughter, Gabriella, returning in her nice face mask, so you can't see her face.
Hi.
She's very thrilled about that, as you can tell. With me is the Dirty Jay-Z via Skype.
Hello, everyone.
And as always, Mr. Ryan Eckenbauer via Skype as well.
Hey, what's up?
What's going on, guys? What's going on? So as you can tell, I'm excited. There's a lot to talk about and get through. So real quick.
Yeah, strap yourself in, everyone.
Yeah,
it's going to be a long one.
It's going to be a little of this going on. No, but yeah, there's a lot going on, a lot to talk about. So let's just do our non-spoiler reviews. Brian, I'll let you start.
We'll start with, I give it an A++. This is probably my favorite episode. It ticked all the boxes for me. Mm-hmm. You guys know what my boxes are. You got ships, lightsabers, fancy duels.
Yep.
It had it all. I was impressed.
Sabers and square offs.
Yep.
A little bit of spoiler, but that's okay. Yeah, I'm going to spoil it anyway. Go ahead, Johnny. Non-spoiler review.
Yeah, I'm going to. Oh, I hope I'm not frozen there. I'll keep it spoiler free. I'll save my later grade for the end. But yeah, this was one hell of a, is it hour long broadcast? It was 45 minutes, but I don't know quite which block that falls in. But yeah, for whatever time frame it encapsulated, wow, it's just a wow episode. You knew that the whole season it was building up to this, and did it ever pay off in ways that we did not expect? And I'm gonna say this was probably like. I'm not gonna say anything about the ending yet, but I'm just gonna say the last 5 minutes were the most emotional 5 minutes that Disney's produced in Star Wars ever.
I gotta hand it to you. Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. Also, this one ran at exactly 45 minutes. I noticed. It might be a little bit over, but it was about 45 in general. All right, Gabby, what do you think? Just non-spoiler now. You can't spoil anything.
So I loved the entire episode except the end. I did not like the end.
Ooh, surprise ending. Surprise. Well, I have to talk about
Am I going to have to square off against your daughter?
Easy now, Johnny.
Dance.
Easy. She has her reasonings, and I've heard her reasonings, and they're valid, kind of. And we'll talk about it when we get to it. Okay, so from this point on, everything we talk about, boss, I actually also give it an A++, by the way, for 1,000 reasons, and I'll be more than happy to tell you about that. Coming up, starting right now, is from this point on, spoiler review. Everything we talk about is about the episode, so if you haven't seen the episode, pause us, watch the episode, and come back. So, all right, so right off the back, let's talk about attacking the Imperial shuttle. The big surprise for me here.
The first time or the second time?
The first time, yeah. The big surprise for me here, Slave 1 has ion cannons. That's kind of an upgrade. I don't think we've ever seen Slave 1 that I can remember having that kind of firepower. Obviously, an ion cannon is a disabling weapon. It's only seen on a few starships throughout Star Wars. The biggest ion cannon we ever saw was on Hoth. It was that big giant, the boob cannon, as I like to call
Space
it.
boob, yeah.
Yeah, the space boob. So there's a lot of stuff there. So I've never seen that kind of armament. What did you guys think about that whole scene? Go ahead, Brian.
Well, I mean, we've never actually seen Slave One in action before, so it's kind of hard to see what kind of technology he has. But being the best bounty hunter there is, you'd think he'd have the top equipment on his Starcraft.
I'm gonna ask a question here. Didn't we see it in Attack of the Clones when it was having the space battle with Obi-Wan though?
He didn't use an ion cannon though. He used the seismic
thing, but he did blast at him.
He did.
That was even in the trailer.
Yeah, he blasted at him with just regular lasers, but he did that ion cannon was like that blue shot you saw, and that's what's disabled the entire the shuttle. That's why the shuttle shut down, was that
Imperial
ion
shuttle.
Yeah, the Imperial shuttle.
Can I call it Shuttle Tiberian?
You can call it Shuttle Tiberian. Actually, it was Lambda, I think. Shuttle Tiberian, Lambda 2 or something.
It was Lambda 234 or 235 or something like that.
Yeah. So Lambda. It's the Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah,
shuttle.
I really liked it coming in, and he shut everything down basically, and then you get that whole coming up in front where it comes up in front.
That was a badass shot. Yes,
that was a nice shot.
And you can see Boba. You can see Boba in the cockpit.
Yes,
as he's like
yep. Prepare to be boarded. Ah!
A lot of shots that I swear looked. It made me sad that the theaters aren't open right now, and it made me sad that it's only on TV because there were some real cinematic shots in this.
Absolutely were.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I was wondering. And this is, it is about this, but it's not. You know how Cinemark and AMC and stuff are allowing you to go in and watch certain, like you pick your own stuff to watch.
Yeah.
Like you pay $200 in the theater.
Yeah,
are you allowed to watch Mandalorian in the theater?
I don't
Probably.
know.
I mean, I guess if it fits within that certain block, you probably could.
Because that would be awesome. I'd pay $200 to go see the Mandalorian in the theater.
There's a little light bulb starting to come over my head, Brian.
Dad, no. Dad, no.
That would be fucking. Or pardon me. That would
Yes,
be
it would.
awesome.
I mean, how awesome would that be?
It would
Especially if you get to see it back to back to back to back.
Yeah, just watch all season 2. Oh.
Yes.
Except one episode. We don't need to see the Frog Lady episode again.
Again. Well, I still dug the spiders. That would be cool to see on the big
No,
screen.
no.
I'll watch the thing again.
Yeah.
No.
All right. So let's switch from to on board when they board the shuttle, and let's talk about Cara Dune, man. Got a little bit of a dark side in her shows up here. First of all, we learned that tattoo that she has on her cheek, which is the Imperial emblem, is actually for Alderaan. So I guess anybody who's still from Alderaan that's out in the galaxy, I guess maybe that's one way you show your
solidarity.
Yeah, kind of deal. And this guy's talking smack to her about that, and she keeps warning him, and then bam, man, right in the face, dude. I mean, just he doesn't have a nose left on him,
Now, Brian, did you recognize who that was?
The first guy looked familiar. He looked like a comedian, but I couldn't place him. Who's that? Who was the second guy? Somebody as well?
Yeah. So the second guy was actually the bad guy from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. When they went back in time, he was the young version of. What's his name? Oh, now that I told you about it, now I don't forget what his name was. Yeah. But he was the guy who created Hydra.
Oh! You're talking about? Was that him?
And he was the younger version. He was the guy who was carrying the mineral spirits and stuff.
Okay.
I'm lost.
Gotcha. Okay, so yeah, a little Disney crossover action going on.
Yeah.
The first guy that got shot and made the little girly scream, he looked like a comedian I'd seen somewhere before. I don't know if he was somebody.
Yeah, I didn't recognize him.
But I was just like, that was a horrible scream. It was up. She shot him, and he was like, ah! I was like, okay, that's horrible.
Did she shoot him? I thought it was the other officer that shot him.
Yeah, it was the other officer.
Oh, it was the other
Yeah,
officer. You're right.
yeah.
He shot him in the back, but he did it.
Yep. Because he's like, I'm not with him. We can work something out. And he's like, I'll shoot you.
his
Is was it Drake?
I don't think it was Drake. I'd have to go back. I'll have to go
I'm
back
trying
and
to
look
remember
it
what his
up.
name. It was the guy who started stealing everybody's powers.
Yeah, Drake is at the very end. He's
Yeah,
the
he was
bad guy at the end.
He was starting to steal everybody's powers. He stole.
It might be. It might be
I
him.
feel like I'm
not
gonna have to do a back to Quinn moment here.
Yeah, we'll have to look it up at some point. If you get a chance,
Sideline
Brian,
that
see if
for
you can
now.
look him up. But it seemed, yeah, you might be right. Now that I think about it. Okay, so Kara's got some serious issues and has no problem shooting somebody dead in the face with a blaster rifle if you piss her off enough. It's so much
I got that impression from her all the time, but
well, yeah, me too. But I mean, this one even stunned the Mandalorian. The Mandalorian even did a. Are you kidding me? Watched her walk off kind of steal. He was just real. I don't know. I was just like, damn, don't don't mess with her. Don't mess with her. I'm gonna try my best not to cuss. Okay. So let's move.
which is funny. We sent Steph in the other room. Steph's usually our profanity generator.
Yeah, you're right. She's a. Anyway, it's me tonight. Apparently, I guess because I'm excited and everything. But anyway, let's talk about. So they move on. They go to recruiting more help. So they go looking for Bo-Katan and is it Kosk? Oh, was it Koska? Is that right, Brian?
What are you doing?
Huh?
What'd you
Koska.
say?
Koska, the other Mandalorian. That's
Oh,
with
yeah.
Bo-Katan. I think it's Koska.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. And the one thing that caught my interest in this is a real minor detail that I blew up out of proportion just because my curiosity is heightened. What did you guys think about those refinery looking things on that planet? Did you think that was?
I dug it.
Did you?
I thought it was kind of a neat design.
Did you think it was actual like industrialism, or
Yes.
did you think like I did that it was terraforming? Like I thought they were pumping moisture into the air, kind of thing.
Frankly, it looked industrial. It reminded me of like when you drive through like farmlands and you see those big silos with the tubes and everything on the side. Like it looked like that in some way,
Yeah.
but in more of an industrial fashion. But I like the way that they were sparsed out, so it looked like a farming land. I mean,
Yeah.
Hank, I know you talk about the three, Saber ships and square offs, but for me, what I love in sci-fi is like a nicely designed universe, and this is actually kind of a neat looking. Granted, for a throwaway, it had like a really neat backstory going to it. So
Yeah, I thought it felt like we were going to Lothal.
Ooh, there you go. Okay.
Just the way because we came across. I realized at this point Lothal would have been way different than that,
Yeah.
but it seemed like it was that kind of planet where he said they originally came in and they had these plants
Yeah.
that were using all the bio stuff to make fuel and stuff, and it used to be fields of grain, and then all of a sudden it was barren land.
Yeah, they were strip mining it. Yeah.
Right, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what it felt like what those plants were doing,
Mm.
where like they had all the plants set up and they were refining everything, and then you get to the part where he lands in this town, and it's kind of like a desert rocky area, kind of like it was with Lothal.
Yeah. That's a good point. That could be. To me, it seemed, and this was what I took away because, you know me. Once my curiosity gets up, I'll rewind it, watch it, rewind it, watch it, rewind it, watch it. What I saw was, you got these big giant refineries, but it didn't look like smoke to me. It looked like steam, and the landscape to me looked like it was arid, like it was desert, but there was little tiny green brush everywhere, like they were trying to grow something there that wasn't necessarily what it was designed for. Like they were trying to terraform the planet to meet whatever standards it was. That's what I took away after watching it like 3 to 4 times back to back, just because I
don't know. Do you remember like when you drive across the that bridge on 275 when you get into Indiana and you see that power plant off to the side? I mean, the stacks seem more like that.
The nuclear power plant stacks. Okay. All right, that's fair enough. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know.
I didn't see it.
Yeah, it was either industrial or, like I said, it was either the industrial thing or that's the only other thing I came up with in my mind. So I don't know. Okay, so let's go to the whole bar scene, and yeah, the first big thing, the big takeaway is Bo-Katan doesn't care for Boba Fett. She brings up right away, you're not a Mandalorian,
Never said I was.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, I never said I was, and then he always brings up his father. He brings up Jango Fett, and she says, she she goes, you mean your donor? Basically saying he's a clone.
That was a nice moment.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a lot of hatred and tension there, but it was almost, I won't say it was complete hatred. It was almost like a Han Leia vibe is what I got from it, because he kept calling her princess. Maybe that's what it was. That's why I picked up on it, or maybe I'm taking it a step too far. And John agrees. Okay, John, go ahead. What do you think about Boba versus?
It just seemed like there was just disrespect between the two of them. Mm-hmm. Just honestly like a couple gunslingers in a bar that just don't like the cut of each other's jib.
Yeah. What do you think, B?
I mean, I doubt they're going to produce another, Ben Solo then down the road. So, no, I did not get a Han and Leia vibe at all.
You don't see a Boba Bo-Katan kid coming out?
No, I do not.
No, Gabby doesn't either.
No,
okay.
just no.
Brian, am I on my own on this one too? What do you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Signs she's just not that into Boba.
Yeah, she said, she says you're a clone.
Yeah.
I've heard 1,000 of your voices. Like maybe might be the last one you hear. Blah blah blah. It was just like, and then you go back and think about all the clones she did here.
Yeah.
But it's funny. It was funny because like they were talking about the amount of disrespect that was there.
Yeah.
Was just unreal, considering like you don't see too many Mandalorians going around, and for her to be like, "You're not a Mandalorian," like, what the hell does that have to do with anything?
Yeah.
Like I didn't come in here saying, "Hey, look at me, I'm a Mandalorian."
Yeah.
We just came for your help. You know what I mean? It was weird.
To me, it started out very hateful, and then it turned into more, I don't know, to me it turned into more playful, because later you get the line, and we'll talk about it when we get to it a little bit, but you almost get like an apology between the two, an unofficial apology that happens. Basically wishing each other well and don't get hurt kind of thing. So I don't know, maybe I'm reading into it too far. It was just the fact that he kept calling her princess, and that's what
She's just not that into him.
Yeah, it could be. It's just there's a little tit for tat going on there, and that, I thought maybe it could be just because he was calling her princess that it was enough for me to go.
No.
It reminded me of Han and Leia's fights.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I can see where I can see where you're saying that because he called her princess.
Yeah.
But I think it was more the fact that he called her princess because she was never really the queen of Mandalore.
So he's trying to just piss her
Give
off.
her jabs.
Yeah.
Denigrate her, yeah.
Yeah. So, and then there was a great little fight between Boba Fett and that Casca character. Or Casca. Yeah, I got Costco in my notes. I think it's actually Casca. Anyway.
I keep calling her Sasha Banks.
Sasha Banks, yeah. But yeah, speaking of that, though, she pulled off a little, with the help of a jetpack, pulled off a little wrestling move on Mando. Did a DDT on him.
That was a Hurricanrana, yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty
The
bad.
jetpack Hurricanrana.
Jetpack Hurricanrana, DDT, whatever you want to call it. It was pretty badass. And I thought for doing that, they're trying to build up her character, maybe give her a little bit more stature, because it is Boba Fett she's fighting here, and she holds her own against Boba Fett. If anything, Boba Fett might actually, I won't say he lost, but he's on the, I don't know, on the other side of that fight. What do you think there, Brian?
Well, I mean, I also think that he held back.
Oh, okay.
I don't think he was 100% into that fight. I mean, he was like after she did that move.
Yeah.
I think he was, but like at first, if he really wanted to, he would have just shot first.
Yeah, that's true. He would have, and he could have.
Oh, come on!
First.
When has a Star Wars character ever done that?
Yeah, exactly.
Han always shoots first. Damn it.
But I think he was holding back, and he only turned his flamethrower on after she did.
Yeah.
Like he didn't shoot first on that. Like she turned hers on and then he turned his on. So it was like a just a block. It wasn't trying to do anything.
There was no offense on his part. It was all defense. Okay, I'll buy that. I'll take that. What did you think, Gabby?
Um,
Who do you think won that fight? Between
I think
Boba?
it was like a neutral fight. No one won.
Yeah.
You know.
It's a draw.
It's a draw.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. All right, and then of course,
I'm with you, Gabby.
what's that? Sorry.
So I'm with you, Gabby. That's exactly what I thought. It was just shows off the two are good fighters, and yeah, it's a draw.
All right then. Let's move on to Bo-Katan. And basically, at the end, she finally agrees to help Mando, but she basically under two conditions: is one, she gets to kill Gideon, and then she gets to take the Darksaber from Gideon. That's her two conditions for going along with all this. Which
I thought her first condition was she gets the aircraft, like she gets the spacecraft.
Well, that was part of
and then the second one was she gets to Gideon.
Yeah, that was part of Mando's sweetening. That wasn't Mando's offer. He's like, that cruiser could really help your cause. That was kind of his incentive in the plan, I guess, to get her to go along.
Incentivize her.
And then she came back with well, that's fine, but I get to kill Gideon and I get to take the Darksaber. Those were her other two conditions, because obviously she wants that Darksaber because she wants to rule Mandalore again, or at least have the ability to, I guess, choose. Maybe, I don't know. That became a little bit more murky after this episode. We'll talk about that here coming up. Let's move on to making the plan. Here, Dr. Pershing, once again, I just get the feeling that this Dr. Pershing really doesn't care for being around the Imperials. He's just there, and he's just trying to get by, and he's just trying to save his own skin from the Imperials, because any chance it seems he gets to help the other side, he's more than willing to do so, and he does here again. What do you guys think? Do you think he's out for himself, or do you think he's just pissed off at the Empire and wants to get back? What do you guys think?
I think he's away from. I think he's wants to get away from the Empire. Like, he knows where the Empire was.
Yeah.
But so he's probably a I wouldn't say a turned rebel, but more of along the lines of, I'm going to line myself with whoever's not going to kill me.
Yeah. The enemy of my enemy is my friend, so to speak. What do you think, Johnny?
The whole time, like, when I saw him pop up again in the video message this season, I kind of got the impression he's out for himself. Like, he's just whoever is giving him the paycheck at the moment. He's the scientific equivalent of Benicio del Toro in the universe. So
he's a scientist for hire.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. All right, that's cool. And then
it's like a scientist that doesn't want to be killed.
Yeah.
And he provides some intel, though. He gives them the intel on the Dark Troopers. And it turns out that the Dark Trooper from the EU meets the Dark Trooper that he describes, the three phases, is in reverse. So in the EU, it starts off as a droid and turns into an Iron Man. Apparently, in the redone version now of history, they retconned that and they turned it around. It started off as an Iron Man suit and now it's gone full droid, is what's happened. So for those of you keeping track and trying to at home, because we showed those three stages of the droid, and they apparently in this timeline or in this history, that
they de-evolved.
They've de-evolved into droids instead of evolving into a man suit, so to speak. So in this case, I guess the Empire has taken the stance that the human is the weakness and has eliminated it. So for those of you out there wanting to know that, which is interesting, I don't know if a droid is any more deadly than a man, though. I don't know. What do you guys think? We'll talk about that. Let's put that big philosophy question out there for a second.
Who's going first?
You got something you want to add? Go ahead.
I mean, I feel like the droid could be more stupider than the man, because the droids could have errors in their program or something, while man, they just know what they're doing and go for it.
Okay. All right, John. What do you think?
I mean, in the Star Wars universe, it's always been about the dehumanized plot always fails.
Right.
So anything that doesn't have a personality is basically prone to failure in the Star Wars universe.
The industrial machine, complex,
Exactly, because it's always been about humanity versus overwhelming machines. So that's how we get Ewoks taking down Imperial walkers. With bows and arrows and slingshots and
right. Brian, what do you think?
I want to say that they actually made the dark troopers feel more menacing in this episode.
Yeah.
Than we've gotten the entire time. I actually felt they were more of a network than they were individual droids.
Mm. Yeah.
And also, I also felt as if there was a like an artificial intelligence that was directing them, just by their movements. We haven't got there at the end with the fight and stuff, but you can tell everything was coordinated between them.
Very much so. Yeah.
And it was more like a hive mind. It wasn't a what I think the droid part of it gets rid of is all the one-offs that a human can make, where it's like, I'm going to make this choice where I normally wouldn't make it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's getting rid of, and that's why they went with the trooper, because this trooper is going to say, here's my directive, this is what I'm going to do,
mm-hmm.
as opposed to, here's my directive, how can I get to that without actually having to blast through this door, I can go around this way or whatever.
Right.
So did Star Wars come up with their... Oh, go ahead.
But to John's point, it does seem that whenever you take the humanized side of something, that's when something fails.
Yeah, because the Force is always the organic side, and anytime you go against that, that's always been the argument, I guess, in Star Wars. But yeah, go ahead, John.
I was gonna say, so Star Wars has basically created their version of the Borg now.
Resistance is futile, but we're not going to simulate your ass. We're just going to blast it.
Yeah, we don't have any traces of like human-looking skin on our faces. It's just all
We're just gonna.
What's that guy's name from Iron Man 2? All drones.
Yeah, it's more Terminator 2, I think, than Borg, I guess, or I don't know. Well, Terminator 2 kind of acts on their own, but anyway. Okay.
Skynet meets the Borg.
Skynet meets the Borg. Yeah, there we go.
With the OG Battlestar Galactica helmets.
Yeah.
You know what? That's a good point. They did kind of have the old. The Mandalorian helmets often look a lot like the old Battlestar Galactica. What were they called? Cyclones or something? Right? Cyclones.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Cylons.
That's it. Cylons. Thank you. There's a lot of BSG out there yelling at me, including George, our good friend George.
Well, we got Bo-Katan on there now too, so.
What's that?
Because the actress from that plays Bo-Katan.
Yeah, she played Starbuck. That's right. I forgot. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Katie Sackhoff. Yeah.
Yep.
There you go. All right, and then of course they make this big plan, and they're gonna break into two teams of one of everybody else, and then Mando. And Bo-Katan goes along with it because she wants that Darksaber, and she thinks he's going to be on the bridge, and she just goes along with it because she knows she's got a better chance of getting to him that way, I think. And she just went along with it. I was surprised. It just showed she's pretty one-sided this time along, where the last time they were working together more, maybe, and then she changes the plan on him at the end. But this time she is definitely out for that saber and very focused, I thought. What'd you guys think?
No more than usual.
Yeah. No more than usual? Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I'm on a delay here.
Okay. That's fine. Actually, I forgot I have all these pictures, and I keep forgetting about. I've forgotten all about these darn pictures. Somebody should shake me next time.
You want me to?
Yeah, please do.
Okay.
Okay.
I noticed it. I just
I'll
didn't
catch
want
us
to
up
tell
here
you.
real quick. So, okay.
So here we are now.
There we are now. So let's talk about getting on to the light cruiser. So she, right before they get on, before this battle begins, Bo-Katan again making her claim on Gideon. He's mine, and then she says, basically she's going to kill him. And Kara's like, nope, I want him alive. It's good intel. And then Bo says that's fine as long as he surrenders to me. So she's just making sure everybody makes clear that he's mine and I get the saber and I don't care what else happens.
See, that's the thing, is she never says she wants the saber.
No,
but you can tell she has a hidden agenda with this whole thing, because she keeps putting herself in that position to let everybody know, well, I want Gideon. Well, that's fine as long as Gideon, surrenders to me, but doesn't say why it's important.
Exactly. Yeah, she's hiding it from everyone. That's a good point. Mando knows what she wants, but and I guess Boba Fett knows what she wants, but I guess everybody else doesn't. That's a good point, Brian.
Well, I don't even think they really know what she wants or why she wants it, because Moff Gideon tells him why she wants it, and why it's important. Because before he has something that belonged to me, it can cut through anything, right?
Yeah.
So they don't even know what it is.
You're right. You're right. You know what? You're right. I think you're right. I think that even Din doesn't know what's going on. You're right. It's a good point.
Because I think the way what she thinks is, as soon as she tells somebody, they're going to want to take it for themselves.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Right?
That makes sense. I guess. Yeah. Okay. You're right. Yeah. I think I'm making the assumption that at least Din Djarin knows, but you're right. He probably does not know. At all.
Because remember, when he goes in the thing, he goes mesmerizing, isn't it? And he goes, where are we going with this? Well, this is what Bo-Katan wants, and I know you're with Bo-Katan, and blah blah blah. And he's like, dude, shut up! I just want the kid.
But keep the saber.
Keep the saber.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, we'll talk about that as we move forward there.
One thing I do want to ask. So this plan that they start devising, I think don't at one point they actually say, "Oh, while they're busy chasing Mando, is when we, we'll go in and sneak attack Gideon or whatever." It didn't play out like that.
No, it was the other way around. She said, "We'll be the distraction while we're distracting. You slide into the shadows and get the child."
Yeah, she does bill it as they're the distraction. So
yeah.
Okay.
And then I thought it was cool to use Slave 1 as the fake chase of the shuttle, and then I love the crash. I love how we see the shuttle bay on this light cruise. I didn't even know there was a shuttle bay in between the pointing.
I've got to bring this up.
Yeah.
That seemed like a very dangerous takeoff design. I'm just gonna say
Correct.
that.
Correct.
Like that was a very bad design.
Like, what are you gonna do? Shoot tie wings out of your asshole? Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
It was like, as you're taking off, it's such a narrow trench to get out. It's like,
It is.
hey, we're out of the docking bay, and it was like, if you make a sudden turn, like you've already destroyed everything on the. It's very impractical.
Well, and then you see later that it also has one underneath, like all the other the bigger Star Destroyers do. So
Yeah,
it's
where you
like,
just fall at the bottom.
yeah,
Use
so
those.
use that instead of trying to launch through this real narrow pathway. But it was still
Yes.
cool and very cool for dramatic effect because I'd never seen it. I was like, oh, okay, I've never seen this before. This
Well,
is
yeah, I
interesting.
mean, for something that they've just created, it was pretty badass. And also, is this the first new Empire that we've seen, like the internal parts of the ship?
This would be. I mean, they've shown parts of
Because
this
we've seen the
cruiser
outside of it.
before, huh?
Right, but we've never seen the inside of the cruiser.
No, we've never
Right?
seen the inside of the cruiser in Rebels or anything like that. No.
So this is the first part of the what is it? Not the New Republic.
I wouldn't consider it First Order though. I just think
First Order. That's what I'm saying. Are you sure this is First Order?
Yeah, I'm sure. I would definitely consider this still Empire, because they do this ship.
First order, the beta version.
Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. Like the transition.
No, not yet, because this cruiser does show up in Rebels, way back in Rebels. So we just never seen the inside of one before. So,
Okay.
So, but yeah, I would say this is still what's left, surplus Empire, if you will.
Okay, I got you.
At this point. So, but yeah, I really like this the whole chase scene, and then I loved how the crash landing on to this crazy little docking port or whatever you want to call it, docking bay. It was just badass, I thought.
Yeah, I agree.
So
It looked neat, but the design was like the exhaust port.
Yes. like magically, it's tall enough to fit the wings of this thing when it's folded up.
Right.
So, but yeah, it's just like, wow, it was just cool. All right, so let's move on to what I like to call the fearsome four. These four, and I was badass the way they were just blasting and fighting their way through the ship. The bridge over the cargo, that rear cargo bay we were just talking about entrance, that was awesome. How they flew back in. I thought that was something, when I first saw that, I was like, damn, that is something we've seen like animated, but we have never seen anything like that in live action before. Where you see the Mandos take off and then come back in and just do all this crazy stuff. And it took me forever to figure out. I watched this episode 4 times, and because of everything that's in it. And
I watched it all day.
did you really? Okay.
Yes, I did.
And I gotta
Once.
it took me till the third viewing to realize that these were all women. Like, I had no idea. It didn't
Really?
even enter my mind. Not once.
First time.
Yeah, no, it's like I had that the first time.
I did not pick up on it at all, and I thought that was really good writing. I thought, because if I'm not picking up on that, then I'm really invested into the story and what's going on and the greater story, which I think that shows you the best way to, if you're going to build strong female characters, that's the best way to do it, to put it in a way, because we've seen in so many other movies, it's like they're almost like pointing to them, going like, here they are. And it's great to see them that way and everything, but they're like giving it to them on a silver platter. Here, I didn't pick up on that at all. You know, here that's part of the story. There's a reason behind it. It's legit. You know, it's not just there to win points. I guess.
Which was, I thought, was actually kind of interesting. Like, I didn't pick up on they were going to make an entire women's group out of it.
Yeah.
I did. You know, obviously I noticed it right off the bat. But when they were back on, what planet are we calling it? I'm going to call it Lothal.
Okay.
The third Mandalorian that was with them was a guy.
Yes.
But he wasn't there on Lothal.
No, he was not.
And that's why I was like, what happened to the third one?
Yeah.
But yeah, this was, you know, I saw the writing was on the wall the entire time. You've had these impressive women characters.
Mm-hmm.
The entire second season.
Yeah.
I knew they were going to come together eventually.
Yeah. But it was the first time for me that I didn't realize it, though. I just went along with the story, and then I watched the third time through, and I went, oh, wait a minute, that's Kara, that's, you know, Bo-Katan, that's Casca, and that's Fennec Shan. And I'm like, holy crap, you know, that's like a fearsome foursome of women, and I was so invested in the story that it didn't matter. You know, I was more about the story than I was the fact that they were women, and you know, and to me that just, I don't know. From my point of view, if you guys picked up on it, that's great. But the first time,
it definitely didn't feel like a lot of the stuff that's been coming from Hollywood, with the shove it down your throat. Hey, this is a female-led.
Well, not even if
female-led thread. It was more of a, like you said, this is the story. This is how we're telling it.
Yes.
You know, it is built more of around the story than it is an extra aspect. Now, if they had gone and said, you know, one of these is a LGBTQ or whatever,
yeah,
that would have been extra thrown in. But the fact that it was just a woman getting thrown in,
yeah,
you're like, this is awesome. You know, this feels like what it needs to be to have, you know, like for your daughters or whoever, to have, you know, somebody to cheer on and be like, yes, you know, who are you? I'm Bo-Katan from Mandalorian. Blah, blah, blah. They chase each other in the house. You know what I mean?
Right. To me, it was, I guess I did a lot of comparison between this foursome and the big group that they put together at the end of Avengers.
Yep, and Endgame.
And yeah, that Endgame, that to me at the end of Endgame, while cool and neat and fun to watch, it was kind of like, here they are, here's the platter, here it comes, here's their moment. Where this was so involved in the story that it was just naturally flow. That, I guess that's my point, is it naturally flew, and that to me is, you know, I like each and every last one of these characters. They're all incredibly badass. They're all incredibly threatening. They each have, you know, leadership qualities and all these things, and they're developing them through the season and through the time. There's no, like I said, there's no like, here's the silver platter and, you know, here it is. We're here to make a point. It was awesome. I thought when I put some thought into it, I was like, damn, they really did a good job of hiding that. At least for me, anyway. I don't know. So that was just my take on it. Johnny, what'd you think?
I mean, I picked up on the first time, and not only that.
I think we might have lost Johnny to the. You still
there,
John?
It's great. I mean, yeah, I'm there. I mean,
okay.
Apparently, I got lost somehow.
Yeah, you froze up there, buddy. Yep. Hold on.
Is it still there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
You're still there.
You were
Bullenbrain keeps freezing.
You were flickering for a second. Sorry. Go ahead.
I mean, it's more than just like you had like 4 women there with them. It's like you had an Asian woman, you had a black woman there. I mean, there's some good representation there. And it's amazingly done. You know, it fit naturally. It didn't feel like it was calling attention to itself or it was forced. It was just just a natural part of the story, which is a good way to integrate everything.
Absolutely.
But
Yeah. And I also thought...
I'm worried I'm going to get frozen out again.
Yeah, you're kind of in and out a little bit. I also think they could end up, and I don't want to put everybody in this show, but here's another chance for them to take a few of these characters and throw them into the Rangers of the New Republic. They could take one or two, or if not all four, maybe. I don't know. So that would be interesting. So,
I don't think that would happen.
I don't think so either, because I think Fennec Shan is with Boba. But
Yep.
And I think that Bo-Katan and Casca are on their own thing with the Mandalorian right now, or will be. But nevertheless, they set them up where you could. It's
good to hope, Brian. It's good to hope.
It's good to hope, and they could have this someday. They could anyway. So, okay, so let's move on to what I thought was a badass fight, and that was Mando versus the Dark Troopers. And let me switch it over here. And the most horrifying thing about the Dark Troopers, I thought, was this picture here, and that is the Dark Trooper just slamming his fist into, and I know it's a little dark on my screen for some reason, but
very dark.
I'm hoping it's going to come across better on the video than it does. We'll find out. Anyway, it's the fist. I'll switch back. But this is where he's got his fist and he's just drilling it into his helmet. I mean, just not once, twice, 3, 4 times. I mean, I thought he was going to crush him the first time. Which I don't know. What do you guys think? Actually, Gabby, what do you think about that? Do you think his helmet was going to get caved in?
Not really, because if it did, then that would probably change the storyline of what I had in mind when I watched it the first time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not Game of Thrones. They're not going to do that to Pedro.
They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it to him twice. Yeah. They're not gonna drill in his eye. Yeah, you haven't seen any of that, and you won't see any of that for quite a while, hopefully. Brian, what do you think about?
Sorry.
I mean, I felt like every punch they punched him, he kept getting drilled back further and further and further into the wall. It seemed like his head just.
He did, until he busted through that pipe.
Yeah.
And then it kind of caught the Dark Trooper off guard. Then he used his flamethrower to, kind of flame the insides there, but. I thought it was cool. It was cool to see that it was, it's him against his natural enemy, the droid.
Yes.
It was kind of cool to see that aspect. And then it was the other thing was, he's still better than them. This one was just a little more prepared than the other ones were. Right.
Yeah, right. And the other thing is the Beskar. Like they continue to make Beskar like huge now. Like it's almost like it's what help me out. Adamantium, yeah. Adamantium, thank you. They're making it into this super steel in Star Wars that we've never really gone into depth on it, but I think they're making it such a big deal now in this series that I think that even future Star Wars writers are going to have to remember that in order to keep that continuity through other series. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
Well, it is giving a way out that lightsabers aren't the end all, the be all end all.
Yeah.
It's giving that out to say, like, come down the line and there's some kind of battle. And there's like, how is this guy getting away from this Jedi? And he throws his arm up and blocks it. You're like, how did you do that? And he's like, I had my arm replaced with Beskar. You know what I mean? Like, Like,
yeah.
Like they'll have something like that, and they get thrown in there and be like, okay, that's how they and then he gets away.
Right.
But that'll be how the hell they do that with it'll be those one-off moments where it's like, we wrote ourselves into a corner. How are we gonna get out of it?
Well, and I think they're going to have to remember how strong it is, too. So if they decide to write a random Mandalorian character, and they're going to have to figure out, if he just randomly dies in the background or something, they're going to have to make it, like a weak part in the armor, because...
Not just stormtrooper armor that's made out of, polystyrene.
Right, yeah, or made out of... anymore, I think the stormtrooper is made out of styrofoam anymore, but
Yeah.
It serves no purpose whatsoever.
Peanut brittle.
What? And it's not every Mandalorian that has Beskar armor, right? It's just him.
They all have some form of it. They have different alloy,
Now, do they?
alloy mixes.
Do they though? Because I thought they got rid of it when they had that machine on Rebels, that it used the Beskar against them, so they all changed their.
Oh, they didn't change anything. She changed the machine to go after Stormtrooper armor instead of Mandalorian armor in that episode. I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought they all changed their armor so it was more of so it wouldn't be an issue.
Oh no, that's
okay.
Yeah, it's too big of the cultural thing for him. That's one of the reasons.
Well, that's why I was wondering, because they said he melted down all the Beskar.
Yeah.
That's why I was wondering.
Yeah, that's why the armor was also taken such care. Now it makes more sense why she was, even when everybody got massacred back in season 1, why she was melting everything back down. You know.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So, and then I loved the rest of the fight too. I loved how he put the fire inside the droid. That was badass. And it ended up melting the neck armor, which is how he killed him with the spear. But just to see this machine is still kicking his ass while it's on fire on the inside of it was kind of Terminator 2-ish.
That was a Terminator moment.
Yeah, very, very, very much a Terminator moment.
Like,
yeah, what I pictured was what I pictured on that scene was like when he threw him to the ground, like gravity caught him on fire.
Yeah.
Right, and he threw him to the ground. I pictured the droid going, "Ow, damn it!" You know, just something like "Ow, quit it!" You know, one of those things like it didn't really hurt him that much, but it was one of those annoying things.
Right, drop an F-bomb or something.
Yeah.
That's a good part. So, but yeah, I thought they choreographed that whole fight was pretty badass, honestly. So, and how?
Yeah, I like the fact that he got up there to release them right at the last second.
Yep.
That he tried to do it while they were fighting and he couldn't get up to hit the handle. That was pretty good.
Yeah, and threw them all out in the space.
You know, any fight where you actually feel the gravity of the punch is a well.
Uh-oh. Oh, John, you there?
He's there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Uh-oh.
I'm on a really bad delay.
Yeah.
Do I need to hang up and call again, or?
Yeah, why don't you leave the call and come back real quick, see if that doesn't fix it. That fixed it for Brian last time. And Brian switched over real quick. Technical difficulties, folks. You gotta love Skype. There he is. Okay, so try saying something, Johnny.
Hello again? Hello again?
Okay.
Any better now?
There's a little bit of a delay, but we can at least hear you. So I'll take that over what we were, because before we were getting the drive-through speaker. So
wonderful. And I even had like this mic setting and everything for that.
All right, so let's move on to Mando versus Gideon. This was, and again, this is where, like Brian was talking about, this was like the big reveal, and I didn't even realize it. Brian, you did, so you know that he was given a history lesson to Mando as to why Bo-Katan is really here, and he has nothing to do with the child necessarily. It has everything to do with this blade that I'm holding.
Well, it's fun. Well, this is their history lesson for everybody, Brian.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well,
because everybody didn't know about like what it was unless they did research on it, right?
Yeah. So this would be a first time, maybe a full explanation for
your casual
fans.
watcher. Your casual
like
watcher.
Me.
Yeah.
So
John, this would have been their first. This would have been their first go at it of knowing what the Darksaber was and why it was important to history. Like up to this point, we just saw a black sword with a white outline.
Yeah, exactly.
That could cut through the hull of a TIE fighter.
And that's a good point, because because I know all this stuff, and because I'm always doing the crazy board stuff, that I often forget that there are people out there that have not seen Rebels or Clone Wars. So was it a good explanation to you, John? Because you haven't seen.
Yes, it was. It's to me, this is exactly how exposition should be done, in which it was done through character. It was done through him trying to play his hand as a card, and To me, this is why I'm hesitant to get way into extended universe stuff with any franchise, actually, because in the end, to me, it's all about how well is the story told and how good are the characters portrayed. And if I need like a Cliff's Notes just to understand what's going on, then to me it's not good storytelling. But the way this scene was done, and I think the way the entire history up for these 2 seasons thus far have been. This has been exactly the way to incorporate extended universes. If anything, this should become like, a playbook for every franchise in the future.
Wow, that's a great point.
What's funny, John, to go with that, I almost felt like there should have been like a pop-up at this point. Like on the screen, like a pop-up in there that says, if you want to know more about this, watch Rebels. And like that, it just goes away. You know what I mean? Like
that would have been a little too insulting to the audience, like that.
No, but you know what I mean. That's what it kind of felt like. It was like more of one of those like we've told you what you need to know. If you want to know more, check check the next box. Kind of like they do on YouTube, where it's like just see more about it in this video here.
Well, they tried something like that with this movie called Devil Inside, and it ended up like really making all the people who went to see it angry.
Oh yeah, I don't want them to do that. I just felt like that could have happened. You know what I mean?
Brian's Star Wars pop-up videos.
Yeah.
In lesser hands, it could.
All right. Okay, so it was another good fight overall. He did bring up the blood. I forgot to bring that up. So he brings up the whole. His blood is going to bring order back to the galaxy, which, they could use this point in future episodes to continue to explain how the Empire brought Palpatine back, because we didn't get anything hardly in Rise of Skywalker.
Well, this is how we get Snoke.
Yeah, it could be because they've teased Snoke pretty hard this season. So
yes, that's what I'm saying. So that's why I felt like this ship was the New Order, kind of
like the start.
Yes.
I see what you're saying. But yeah, otherwise it was another good fight. I liked how this time they showed the Beskar really kind of heating up because it was exposed to the lightsaber longer, so you kind of got that red hot kind of look to it, which I thought was a cool little effect they added this time.
Well, because we know Beskar can be forged because we saw it like forged into armor, so there's got to be some melting point for it.
Well, yeah, there has to be. It's just apparently a lightsaber, I guess you would think would, but
well, it looks like the darksaber, if given the opportunity, could melt Beskar. It just takes a while.
Takes a long time, yeah. And then it seemed like Gideon was more than happy that Mando left him alive, which of course we find out later because he springs it on everybody. And we'll go right into that now. The darksaber cannot be given, and this is a point of contention.
No, I don't. And going back to Rebels.
I know.
And so here's what I think. I think that it can be given once.
Yep.
But you have to earn it the second time.
So if you lose it.
Yes, because the only reason why I say that is because she cannot wield it again, is what he said.
Okay.
Like he made it a point to say again.
Okay.
So that's the only thing I think of, because Sabine handed it to her and she took it and then
Right.
So that's the only thing I think of, is that she can't be given it again, and she knows that. Okay.
So maybe that's the loophole. And I think they need to come out and say that, though, because there's going to be a lot of us, including me, going, now wait a minute.
Yeah, like if you go back and listen to it again, wait, his explanation when he's laying there on the floor or whatever.
Yeah.
He says, "You're going to go ahead and kill him now because, she can't be gifted it again," or whatever he says.
Right. Yeah. That would make sense.
I gotta love Mando's response there. I gotta admit, I got a kick out of Mando's response there when he's like, "Oh, well," she's like, "It cannot be given again," but before that, and he's like, "Well, she has to take it to him in combat." He's like, "I yield. Here you."
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that, I think that leads into the bigger point is all of this is going to season 3. just like he stumbled into Grogu and protecting, and how that evolved into protecting him and bringing him to his own kind, he has now stumbled again right into the middle of this whole Mandalorian war for Mandalore and succession of Mandalore. He's now the chosen one to lead the rebellion, or whatever you want to call it, whoever's ruling Mandalore right now, which I'm assuming is a remnant of the Empire, the way Bo's talking. Anyway, again, that he's going to be the leader, and then eventually he'll become the actual leader of Mandalore. And Din has just, once again, he's stumbled into something he knows nothing about, has no idea about, doesn't really understand it, but yet it has fallen. This is going to, once again, this new responsibility is now falling on his shoulders, just like it did with Grogu. What do you guys?
Well, here's my only thing with that, Brian, is that the whole reason why this doesn't work for me is that there's 5 people in that room.
Mm-hmm.
If they kill Moff Gideon,
yep,
right?
Mm-hmm.
There's 5 people in that room. Mandalorian doesn't care.
Right.
You know that whatchamacallit's going with Boba Fett, and she doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
So that really only leaves whatchamacallit. She's a ranger. She doesn't care about Mandalore.
No, but she wants him alive.
Right. But that would just leave Bo-Katan and her right-handed person. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
For this whole story to take place.
Yes.
And to make sense, and she could just say that she got it from Moff Gideon. She killed. He died in battle. Blah blah blah. And
I would agree with you that would be that easy, but I think that Cara wants him alive because Cara has to.
Well, yeah, because she's doing the whole rebel thing, saying
right.
He was a ISB agent and he knows a lot of stuff, and
exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I really think that the Cara, because Cara wants him alive, is the only reason that this whole storyline now is going to move forward, where Bo-Katan now has to back Din Djarin or fight him. That's her only choice, and I think she thinks and knows that she can't beat him on one-on-one anyway. And I think she's going to push Din to accept the responsibility of leading a revolt or a freedom campaign for Mandalore, and then eventually try to become the ruler of Mandalore. I think that's what season 3 is going to be all about. Like I said, he's just like he stumbled into Grogu and everything that happened with him. So he's done it again. He's in the thick of another mess and he knows nothing about it. I mean, all he knows about being a man,
and he doesn't care.
Right, he doesn't, and he's he's the reluctant hero. He's the reluctant hero here yet again here. And that I don't know. So there's all these attributes that are come right back into play for season 3, and I really don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think you're going to see Grogu in season 3. I think it's going to be Grogu. He might come back at the end of season 3 as a Padawan trained, but I think for the rest of the season, while they're dealing with Mandalore in season 3, you're not going to see Grogu at least until the end of season 3, if not season 4. What do you guys think?
Oh, I agree. I don't. I think the Grogu part, like this was his arc.
Yes.
And they didn't realize. I don't think they realized what they had until after it started with the whole Baby Yoda thing.
Yes.
Like I don't think they realized that it was going to be. He was going to be this big of a character. They knew he was going to be like always going to be a cute character. People were going to like him. But I don't think it was going to be so big that.
Yeah.
You're going to have entire lines of toys just like flying off the shelf. Didn't matter what it was.
Yeah. I
think that's, and I think they may try to write him back in on season 3, but I don't see it until definitely the second half, if not the last 1 or 2 episodes.
I'd say the season finale. I will go. Any earlier than that, I think would be a discredit to.
But it also depends, Brian, on how long there is between seasons.
There could be a time jump. That's possible, because this is definitely the end of one arc and the beginning of another. So we'll find out, if they pick right back up where they left off, or does, and we'll talk a little bit more about books here when we get to the end of the podcast, but does one series stop for a while another series picks up, and then is it one of those kind of deals, or do they run at the same time? There's a lot of questions there about how that's all going to work out. I don't know. My answer is I don't know. What do you think, John?
Well, two things. I don't think Disney jumps into anything without thinking they're going to have a toy line in their franchise, and two, I think we can't really speculate until after we talk about the next scene or the next sequence.
No, that's fair. Yeah, that's more than fair. So let's jump into the next big sequence, which, of course, is where I lost my damn mind. And I'll be the first to say I lost my damn mind, openly and freely, because this happened. Yeah, so as soon as they were doing the build up to all this, in fact, I'm gonna switch back to main for a minute. As soon as they were doing the build up to all this, and you saw the trooper pounding on the door, I was actually saying to myself, "Where's the light? Here comes the lightsaber. Here comes the Jedi. Whoever it's gonna be, whether it's Luke, Mace Windu, whoever it's gonna be, this is where he comes in. This is the saving moment." And I kept saying to myself, "Lightsaber. Where's the lightsaber? Where's the lightsaber?" And sure enough, as we went through all of this, then all of a sudden the X-Wing came in. And when the X-Wing came in, I lost my mind. I was like, shit, all right, okay, here we go. I wish they hadn't shown us the X-Wing, to be honest with you, though.
Although I really like Cara Dude's her response. She goes, "Just one X-Wing. Great, we're saved."
Yeah, we're saved. One X-Wing, yay! But we knew. I mean, I knew right away. I was like, oh shit, we're gonna get it. And sure, and they gave it to us. They gave us a lot of people are calling it his hall. It's Luke's hallway scene. It's very reminiscent of Rogue One and Vader in that hallway scene, and it's his moment. This is giving the fans what they want and what they wanted. This is what they wanted to see. Some version of this is what they wanted to see in Last Jedi. So this is, I don't know. Brian, run with it for a minute.
To go with what you're talking about, like as far as this is what fans wanted to see. This is what fans wanted to see, but they wanted to see it versus Kylo Ren.
Yeah. Like
this is what they wanted to see in that first part of that trilogy coming back, where they wanted to see Kylo Ren face off against Luke. How badass is Luke and blah 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 and this and that. And they wanted to see this scene, and then they said, if Vader was this powerful, can you imagine how Luke would be when he had all his Jedi ability? How would he have done? So it was funny when you're comparing the two, like you have them on the screen together, when you're comparing the two.
Yeah.
And you have Vader being the red, and obviously you ignite the green with Luke and his saber.
Exactly. Ignite the green.
Vader was killing men, and he was killing droids.
Yes.
So he wasn't actually killing anyone, which I thought was kind of unique. There was no stormtroopers. Right. It was dark troopers. So he wasn't killing anyone. So there was no death really in his scene as there was with Vader.
And I really think that's why they retconned the Dark Trooper too, to go from a droid to an Iron Man, but rather the other way around, so that this scene could happen, obviously, and that there's that a Jedi would have no issue slicing and dicing a droid,
right.
And of course, then again, he didn't have any problems like slicing and dicing everybody on the skips in Return of the Jedi either.
Well, no, he didn't. You're right. But to be fair, they were attacking him too. But you're right. No, I'll give you that. You can also make the counter argument on that one, that he's at that time he is still vulnerable to the dark side. A lot of people would argue that Luke Skywalker, all the way until the end of Return of the Jedi, is succumbing to the dark side.
Because the first time we see him, he force chokes to things.
The guards, yeah. So yeah, very much so. This is giving the fans what they want, and it's giving it in a way that isn't it's not a silver platter, and it is a silver platter. At least it's a silver platter within the story, and it makes sense. I don't know. What do you think? You know what, John? What do you think, actually?
I'll be honest, I actually like that entire sequence better than I liked the Vader sequence in Rogue One.
Okay.
Like, just simply because, I mean, the second I saw like the cloak, and when I saw the handle of the lightsaber, I knew exactly who it was. The second it went green, it confirmed it as well. But just the way it went through, he went through.
I don't know.
Way that, you know.
Damn you, Scott.
It was a way to like get.
Okay, sorry, Johnny.
Am I still freezing up there?
Yeah, pretty
Am I
bad.
still freezing up?
Very-
God damn it.
I know.
Again.
If I get the gist of what you were saying is that I guess he's gonna jump out and jump back in. That's fine. Hopefully we get him back. But I think what he was trying to say is that, you know, how much he liked this sequence so much better than Rogue One's Vader, and it probably because it felt a little bit more natural. You know, Vader was a little bit kind of pushed at the end. Go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
Hello. No, it's just I like the build up. I like the way it was done. I like that it was, you know, something we didn't. You know, we knew, some of us that are fans knew who it was, and the way that it was just built to him getting to the bridge was heroic. It was Luke's heroic moment that we wanted, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah, and
So.
Parts of this were so much like and it was funny how they did it. And I know he's just slicing through droids and stuff, but especially this last scene here where he crushes, he force trash compacts the droid is so Vader.
Mm-hmm.
It just, and he's even using the robotic, you know, hand to do it with, and it was just like flashback to the Vader almost. I was like, damn, you know, he's like father like son there, and that was just like the icing on the cake. I don't know, just watching him just use the Force, like, you know, to crush this thing like a damn can, you know, and it was just like that's the power that I wanted to see. That's
I think that's what I liked. I think that's what I liked about this more than I liked about the hallway scene in Rogue One, because with Vader, it was like a less is more kind of thing that made him more terrifying. But the more like Vader was just like confined to the hallway, and it seemed like it was just another soldier there to me. Like with this though, it felt like you still felt like there was more he could have done against the Dark Troopers, and we had a build up of the troopers. So it was just a perfect way to showcase not only his strength and his heroism, but just still leave a little bit more mystery to the Force, that there was still more power that he was keeping hidden, and I like that.
Yeah, you could tell it was no problem for him. I mean, it was literally no challenge whatsoever. I
think that's why I liked it more.
Yeah, he just cut through him like butter, and it was fantastic. And of course, the 12-year-old in me is shouting. The the 6-year-old, the me that watched Return of the Jedi and stood up and yelled, "Go get him, Luke!" And my father had to strap me back into my chair and put his hand over my lips over my mouth to calm me down. That part of me was going absolutely crazy. And it was just a really great moment, and I can't thank Dave Filoni enough, and Jon Favreau and everybody in that crew for finally giving me that moment that I needed, and it was fantastic. Yeah. So, Brian, anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay.
No, I enjoyed it all.
I think we said it all. Something you want to add, kiddo?
Yes,
Go
I've
ahead.
been sitting here waiting.
No, well, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
We have a fourth person. Yes.
I apologize. Go ahead.
So when I saw Luke coming down, for the first couple of seconds, I was like, okay, that's Luke. And then I looked at the green lightsaber. I was like, wait, that could also be Ezra.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Ezra Bridger has a green lightsaber, yes. But Sabine has that lightsaber.
She
Remember?
does?
Yep. He gave it to her right before he left. But it's a good
He
thought.
did?
Though. Yep.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, he did. But you know what? That is a good thought though about having the green lightsaber because they both have them.
Wait, hold on. Are we talking about? So, did we talk about the part where he takes away Grogu yet?
No, yeah, we're getting there. Yet.
Oh, okay.
So, all right. The only thing about the whole scene with Luke though that I will say that I didn't care for, and it was the music while he was fighting the droids. We got the music when he takes the cloak off, but the music that they played while he was taking the droids down just felt underwhelming, if that makes any sense.
Well, it wasn't meant to be the John Williams music yet. Like, we don't get the full payoff of it until he takes the hood off for that reason, you know?
Right. I know, but I just felt like the fight music itself was dull. But other than that, I was in Cloud 9. But that's my only criticism. I don't know. Brian, what did you think of the music? Did you think the music during the fight scene was good or no? Sorry, B. I didn't know you were offline, dude.
No, yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
yes. Where we at?
So, music during the fight. I thought it was underwhelming, like when he was cutting down the droids. We got the payoff when he takes the cloak off, but we didn't get any.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. I really thought we would have gotten like Luke's theme.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I disagree.
there was,
That's okay.
there was a spot where right at the end there where we walked in. Are we to the part where he walked in to get Grogu?
No, but we're still talking about the hallway. But during that whole taking down of the droids, I said the one thing that kept me from saying it was absolutely perfect was the music that they were playing while he was cutting them down was underwhelming to me.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I didn't have any problem with the whole scene or anything like that. I did have an issue with the fact that this Imperial ship had 1960s camera, so it was black and white.
Yeah, they kept going to the black and white. Yeah, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
You want to see the green going nuts.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, what are we doing here? This is kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. I enjoyed the whole thing. Yeah, the music probably could have been a little more
upbeat.
Like heroic.
Yes.
Maybe heroic kind of.
It felt too. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't. It wasn't a Jedi.
Well, here's the thing: Ludwig Göransson, like throughout the whole.
We lost him again. That Skype's connection sucks today. I tell you what.
Yes, it does.
No, it's not that. It's a different thing. It's supposed to have a Western feel to it, and that's what we get. We get the themes when we get them, but as from every story I've read about other composers, first off, you never want to tell a composer to do exactly what another composer did, or let alone another artist to do exactly what another artist does. I mean, he gives the themes exactly when we need them, and it was a nice build and a rise. I mean, that's the thing, is it felt organic and it didn't feel hammered in. Like, there's plenty of movies I've seen, like, hell, there are times in Avatar I felt the music was just, for as big and overwhelming as Avatar was, there are moments the music felt way more overwhelming than it should have.
Okay, that's fair. I mean, I don't know, just to me, I am really big on Star Wars music, and they did give us the payoff though. They did, when he took the cloak off, you got the Force theme finally. I don't know, for battle I'd either had rather had no music at all, or at least gone with something a little bit more upbeat. That's just me. But I also agree with you, Brian. I didn't really care for the switching to the 1960s monitors, especially when you want to see the light. You want to see him go nuts with the lightsaber. At least give us color monitors for that. So, but I don't know. Maybe it enhanced it too in the long run. I have no idea. But so let's bring up one point that the internet's going nuts about is, and is people are thinking ahead, right? So the fact that he does go to Luke Skywalker, Grogu does, and the question obviously becomes, does he die at Ben and Luke?
So I'm not alone.
Is he going to die at Ben Solo / Kylo Ren's hand at some point in the future? I will give you my take, but what do you guys think first?
John, you want to go first? Or want me to go first?
I don't know. I don't want to.
Okay. Doesn't want to speculate. Okay, that's fair. All right, Gabby.
Again.
Oh, sorry, John. He's Skype. Damn Skype.
I think I froze up again. Damn it.
You did.
I mean, I don't want to speculate. I don't want to think that he's going to be like he's in part of that slaughter group there. No, I just I like it because he was torn between two homes. Where he needs to go to thrive and where he's comfortable with a parental figure. And that to me is why I thought like just those last 5 minutes of a child having to choose between two homes at the end was absolutely perfectly done. Like I said at the beginning of all this, those last 5 minutes there were the most emotional 5 minutes that the entire Disney Star Wars universe has had anywhere.
I would agree with that. Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, so I don't think he's going to be one of the ones that gets killed, the slaughter.
Okay.
Also, I think that the moment you're talking about is also 20 to 30 years away, right?
Okay.
Or 20 years away.
It's more like 12 to 15, but yeah.
But it's far enough away that there'll be a gap there where they can reunite with Mando, and maybe at that point Grogu leaves with Mando.
Yeah.
Or he goes on his own mission or whatever. Because it doesn't say that Luke never was able to fully train anybody.
Yeah.
It just says the ones that were there, the Knights of Ren did that. I really wanted him to take off his
cloak
there and go, "I'm Luke Skywalker and I'm here to help. I'm here to save you."
Aren't you a little short for a Jedi?
Yeah, I'm your.
That's a little fan servicey there. That's a little too Abramsy.
I'm Luke Skywalker and I'm your only hope.
That'd been funny.
But I did. I thought it was interesting. It was an interesting choice that they actually went with Mark Hamill,
yes,
and chose to do the de-aging.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As opposed to getting Sebastian Stan to just step in.
Right.
Only because we've seen the what Sebastian Stan looks like with making him look like Luke Skywalker, and it's almost dead on.
Yeah.
Although I will give it to him that they did make a lot of his scarring that he got from the movies.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of that was brought into focus on this, so it was they did a lot of detail.
Yep.
And I don't know. I really enjoyed the whole scene, except for like some of the really really close up stuff, and it was just like unless he was frozen, it was hard. Like I don't know. I was torn between the. I would have much rather a lot of his speaking scenes to be from the back.
Mm.
Like when they showed him front on and he wasn't moving, it looked really really close. But as soon as they started trying to move his face and everything,
yeah,
I think the CGI fell a little short. And then to go along the lines with the whole like Grogu choosing him, as opposed, I think it was kind of very very cool that Mando said, go on, don't be scared.
Yeah.
This is what you're meant to do, and I promise I'll see you again. And then he took him taking the helmet off, and you getting that whole like interaction between the two of them, like seeing eye to eye for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that was good. Like, and the first couple of times I didn't even notice. You can really see the brown inside of Grogu's eye. Mm-hmm. On that like when you're going into the scene where normally you don't usually just see black.
Yeah.
You really saw the brown, like part of the people of his eye. It was really cool.
Mm.
Well, she saw I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think they both had the same eye color too. It's like they connected with their eye color.
Yeah, brown eyes.
And the fact that he reaches out just to touch his actual face.
Yeah, that was the killer.
moments like that's what I wanted from 7, 8, and 9. I never got it, and oh god, those 5 minutes there were just so perfect.
And the thing,
and when Grogu met R2D2,
that was the key. R2 was the key.
That was kind of cool. And R2 did his little dance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That was kind of cool as well.
That's R2 is the key to why Grogu was put his defenses down. Man, and I thought that was awesome too to see that, because of, who doesn't love R2D2? I mean, come on, it's R2D2 for God's sakes. But yeah, to answer, so we're about 12 to 15 years before I think Luke even starts a Jedi Academy, so there's plenty of time for him to train Grogu. Grogu to train
Kame's house. Now you know the Kamehameha.
Yeah, no Kamehamehas here. Anyway, but yeah, so to train Grogu, there's plenty of time there. There's all kinds of time for him. And honestly, since Grogu has already been trained as a youngling to start with, you got Luke Skywalker, who learned to become a Jedi, and he went from being a novice to, at least, being able to feel the Force within a weekend's time with Yoda. I think that kind of training, his training is going to go pretty quick. I think it's going to come back to him pretty quickly. I think he's going to advance fairly quickly. I wouldn't, like I said, I don't expect to see him in season 3, but yeah, we could definitely see a more grown up, slightly bigger, not totally bigger, but slightly bigger Padawan, Grogu, because let's also remember that Yoda was 100 years old when he became a Jedi Master, and Grogu is only 50. So, there's it won't take long, because right now he's still basically a child or a baby, and he's going to go from a youngling, to at least a Jedi Knight within that same next 50 years. So, so I think there's all kinds of time, but I don't think could he get slaughtered? Yeah, absolutely. Is he going to get slaughtered? Probably not. I think Dave, and I would also quote Ahsoka in that, because that character, everybody said, she's going to die because she was in the Clone Wars, but she wasn't in any of the movies. So, everybody's like, oh, she's obviously going to die. Well, she didn't die. He found a way. He told a completely different story to make sure that that she did make it, that she did survive.
Yeah.
And I think Dave is very very personal when it comes to his own characters that he creates, and Ahsoka's one of them, and I think Grogu is another. So he's doing it with Jon Favreau, exactly, but still. So Gabby, I know this was your point of contention. This was your point of contention.
Oh, I was distracted by the cat. What were we talking about?
Yeah, John's cat. So
that's why I did that. I made sure it gives extra internet clicks.
So your problem with the ending of this is that you think Grogu is going to get killed by Kylo Ren.
Yes.
And that's why you didn't like this episode, right?
Yes.
But so now that you've heard all three of us talk, what do you think? Do you think do you have hope now, at least?
She's living in 2020. She knows life sucks right now. She has no hope.
Help me, somebody. You're my only hope.
Help me, somebody. We're living in 2020.
But anyway, yeah, so, there's all kinds of time before I think that'll happen. So, all right. So that brings us to the end of the actual series, because as soon as he goes away with Luke, as soon as they shut the elevator door on Grogu, then everything goes to black. And then we get a nice little cool end credits scene, which I thought was interesting. In fact, it obviously deals with everybody's other favorite character, or just about. Oh, there's the timeline. We forgot to talk about the timeline. Damn it.
We'll talk about that later. It's fine.
Well, we can go back to it, I guess. Hold on. All right. So for those of you also, because we're talking about time here, so this takes place at roughly about 6 to 7 years after Return of the Jedi. So Return of the Jedi, as you can see by the timeline, is here. Mandalorian is roughly right about here.
Can they see your mouse?
No, they cannot, actually. So if you look on the, thanks for reminding me of that. So if you look on the graphic, guys, you will see Return of the Jedi kind of off right below. At the top, you see Star Wars. Right below Wars, if you go straight down, you'll see Return of the Jedi. If you follow that little arrow, it'll show you where that takes place in the Star Wars timeline. Now, go forward on that timeline just a little bit, and down at the bottom, you'll find the Mandalorian. And you see there's not that much time between Return of the Jedi and where Mandalorian takes place. So it gives you some idea. And then you go from the Mandalorian to the Force Awakens. There's a ton of time, right? There's a good 15, 20 years there maybe. So there's all kinds of time between the Mandalorian and the Force Awakens, because we know that Ben burns the temple probably maybe 5 years before the Force Awakens. So there you go. So when you look at the timeline, you see there's all kinds of time there. So that gives you some idea. All right, so let's talk about the end credit scene, guys. The Book of Boba Fett, if you will, was announced. It'll be next December. December 2021, they're going to release the Book of Boba Fett. So my first question I had when I watched this whole scene, which was cool, by the way, but I've got how did Bib Fortuna survive the sail barge? He was on the sail barge with Jabba the Hutt in Return of the Jedi. Last time we saw him, anyway. This is the guy that was sitting in the throne room. You remember him. He was Jabba's assistant. I'll just leave it at that. So how did he survive the sail barge? That's my first question. Because that thing went up, and I didn't see anybody get away but Luke Skywalker, Han, Lando, Leia.
Right, from a certain point of view.
From a certain point of view, he got away. Okay.
I
Well,
mean,
no,
Boba Fett.
we saw our barge come in this direction,
Right.
but we don't know what was going the other direction.
Okay. So maybe
Don't Abrams this. This is not Rise of Skywalker. It's not Chewie.
But yeah.
But I am starting to think that explosions don't matter in the Star Wars universe. Like, you could have the Emperor on Death Star 2 while it gets incinerated. You got Bib Fortuna on the sail barge. That gets... And nothing, they just come out with, like, maybe a bruise.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe Brian's right. Maybe on the other side of the sail barge, there's another skiff or something that launches out last second. I don't know. But that was my first question. And then my second question is, if Boba just killed Bib Fortuna and he's now sitting in Jabba's palace on the throne, does that make Boba Fett a crime lord? Or is he there for justice and he's just going to use Jabba's old palace as his base of operations? What do you think, Bay?
So I'm torn with you, man. I want to say the way he talked, and he talked about stepping in for the wretched and a second chance and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
I want to say that he's going to be there to be like a safe haven for people, but he's also going to be like a judge kind of thing.
Okay.
Like he's going to be like a, I don't know, like a
hanging judge or something, like they had in the Wild West kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of. You know what I mean? Like they come in and they air their grievances or whatever.
Oh, he holds court like a king almost.
Yeah, like a king, or yes, you could call it, like, or a judge.
Okay.
It's funny. Funny you should mention that, because the fact they call it the Book of Boba Fett, maybe it's like the Book of Solomon.
Ooh.
Yeah,
maybe.
And on the other hand, it does kind of have that feel like he's now one of the crime syndicate owners.
He's one of the new bosses in town.
Yeah, because that's kind of the way that it looked like Bib Fortuna was sitting there acting as like a
Jabba. Yeah.
Like he ate Jabba first of all, but then like he came in and then but now he was the crime lord, you know what I mean, like of Crimson Dawn and everything else.
Right.
So now will we see Boba Fett take over that role where he's now in charge of, because he also, a lot of the stuff that Boba Fett did talk about, some of his was, this isn't a spice dream, this isn't, like he had his sayings that would fit back into the whole crime syndicate era of Star Wars.
Yeah. I don't know. Like I said, I'm torn. I want to say that he's there to I want him to say that he's there to start serving out justice, and that he's gonna, be like an actual ranger, but he's a ranger only for Tatooine or something like that along those lines. But you might be right. He might be a little bit of both. Johnny, what do you think?
Yeah. I want to see where it goes. Like, I did wonder what it meant taking Jabba's throne, though, because he seemed pretty content being in Jabba's palace while he was there.
Yes.
Kind of just like living there. I sincerely hope his time on the throne, because it seems like when you have too much time on Jabba's throne, no pun intended, you end up getting, a lot girthier. It'd be real interesting to see, like, it'd be interesting to see, like, what the weight limit of that jetpack would be.
All right. Here's hoping Boba Fett doesn't become Fat Fett. All right. Copy.
Yeah. Boba Fett.
Boba Fett.
But, I don't know. I mean, I wonder what the significance of that particular location actually is for him. Because I mean, yes, he's the throne now, and it's cool. And I see where he goes.
If you think about it, technically, this is where he died and was reborn.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
True. Yeah, that is. The old mythology. So it's just where does it go from there?
So,
yeah, or maybe this is just a planet. The way the solar systems work, that this is a planet right on the reach of the outer realm. With a decent connection to like the Empire and everything else, that it's more of going to be like an outpost, and he'll deal with more of the outlanding areas.
That could be. I'm starting to like your. I'm sorry. Go ahead, John. Oh, maybe he's frozen again. Damn it! Damn Skype. You back, Johnny?
Am I back now? Am I back here? Or?
I think you are. Go ahead.
Okay, cool. It's also I keep forgetting her character's name, but it's also her return back to Tatooine as well.
Yeah, Fennec Shan. Yeah, that's a good point. I kind of like I'm starting to dig your idea, Brian, that he's creating like a safe haven for smugglers and maybe people that they're not squeaky clean, but they're not murderers, or they're not they're just, he'll still deal with the fringe element, he'll still thrive in the fringe element, but he'll have a certain order to him, maybe, or I guess Johnny just dropped off. Hopefully comes back.
Drop back in.
Okay, but yeah, I could definitely see that being like a safe haven for people like that, or where he's trying to create a second chance haven, maybe for
right.
He'll still deal in crime, but he won't necessarily be
second, like a safe haven for the wretched.
Yeah, the wretched kind of thing. I don't know. That's kind of an interesting idea. And let's talk about when they announced the book of Boba Fett, when they made that the title. That got me thinking, because Mandalorian, every episode has been a chapter. So my question is then, have we been reading from the book of the Mandalorian this whole time? And if so, is John and Dave going to, all their series, are they going to be like this, where every chapter or every episode of every series is a chapter in a book, and then this book is this story, and this book, it sounds like they're going to interconnect.
They're creating the Star Wars Bible.
Not like a Bible necessarily, but almost like they're novels or giant epics, if you will, and that they're that every chapter is being acted out in live action. And that, I don't know, what do you guys think about that idea, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I'll go with that idea. My only thing is, it says the Book of Boba Fett come in 2021, well, we already know that season 3 of Mandalorian is also filming.
Yes.
that they filmed the season of Boba Fett right after season 2.
Mm-hmm. That's the
so
rumor. Yeah.
yeah. So my thing is are they going to? Which I would love if maybe like one came out on Thursday, one came out on Friday,
And then interconnect the two.
Well, no, they could do like they do with every other damn TV show, and they have those crossover events,
Right.
where they're not always connected, but every once in a while
They'll intersect with each other.
they'll intersect. They'll have their intersect points where they bounce off each other, or you'll see one character from another slide over into the other one.
Yeah.
Flintstones meet the Jedi.
Yeah. I think we could see that happen. I also think that the way they're setting it up, we could see a 4-part crossover between Ahsoka, Mandalorian, the Boba Fett, and the Rangers.
So you went
like I really think that we could have 4 storylines hit one spot, and then break off again and merge. Send us in different directions.
So take a page from the DC TV universe, so to speak, with their big crossover series and stuff like that.
Yep.
I can see that. You'd have to really balance that and be careful with that, because of the way. I don't know. I don't know if I prefer to have 2 series running at the same time, or if they just do one series at a time and then go back to back to back to back. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I think I like the latter better than the first, but
and just get one a week from here for the next 16 weeks.
For the next 16,
as opposed to get two per week for the next 8.
Yeah, exactly. So
you don't remember when we had to wait like 3 years for like one movie to come out?
I know. We're so spoiled now. We're a bunch of babies. We really are. We're not a bunch
whiny ass fans.
I made my own damn Star Wars for 3 years in between those movies, man. I used to play with my figures, man. That was my Star Wars.
Right? Yeah.
All right. Well, we have certainly dissected this again and again and again. I think all we got left, guys, is so let's just do final thoughts and grades for this episode, and then we'll do another round for the season as a whole. So, John, I'll let you go ahead and go first. Hopefully, you won't freeze up, buddy. That's just for this episode. Your final thoughts and grades.
Final thoughts and grades. It's flat out an A. Like, probably. There have been very few low points this season has had, and I think that's exactly what this episode is. It was just nothing but a series of high points and not a single low point. So I think it was great. And just seeing the final payoff in the end with Luke showing up and just getting that just wonderful like farewell moment between Grogu and Mando was, like I said, like just finally getting an emotional connection and feeling that is just that to me. Like we talk about, like Star Wars always talks about feelings and, feeling the Force, feeling this movement through you. This is what we needed. We needed a moment like this. We needed a I love you, I know moment. And I'll even go to say like we haven't felt that from Star Wars since that moment. Like just
fair point. Yeah. Okay.
And that to me is what sells a great story, is when you connect with it, and that's what the final moments of this episode did. Proved how much we've connected with these characters and the show over 2 years.
Okay, that's fair. I'll go ahead and actually, you know what, Gabby, what's your final thought and grade? Because I know you were a little disappointed because you're afraid of what's going to happen to Grogu, but
A minus.
A minus. Okay. You thought it through again, huh? Your hope.
I was gonna give it a B plus, but A minus.
She's got hope, folks. There's hope. There's hope. There's hope for her. All right, real quick. I'm gonna say A plus plus plus. That's it to me. So far, this is the best episode of the season, and it's the best episode so far in the series. This connects on all levels. This brings everything together. Brings the whole arc together that we've been through on this journey we've been through for the last 2 seasons. It has an amazing emotional payoff. Not just with Luke Skywalker, but again, like John said, the connection between essentially father and son, and it's that moment where the child finally leaves the house, and goes out, and it tugs on the heartstrings there. The dark saber, the setup for season 3, how how Din is just, he's gone from one mess to another, and how he's going to have to go through all these hard times yet again. And in this next chapter that's yet to come, you can see the writing on the wall there, and how they've done a nice job of transitioning from the end of this, tying the story up to leaving enough to, see where we're going next. Luke Skywalker giving us what we've been looking for, what we've been wanting for so long. Just to see my hero as a child, in action again, is always going to pull at the heartstrings, no matter what. So, for all these reasons, it's A+++. I can't put enough pluses on it. Brian?
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, it was an A++ for me. Yeah. I enjoyed it. It ticked all the boxes for me. Like we said, wrapped up the arc. There was no loose ends that we saw. After the credits, it gave us the
that's right.
the book of Boba Fett, which is something that I've been waiting for a long time. Not really knowing I'm waiting for it, but always wanting. Even when that fan made thing came out on YouTube, and I was like, Brian, can you imagine if this was real?
Oh yeah, watch him get out of the Sarlacc pit.
Yeah. I was like, can you imagine if this was real? This is freaking awesome. For that to come and almost to fruition is going to be awesome. I can't wait.
Copy that. All right, guys. So let's go through one more time, and this is just for season 2 as a whole. I'll go ahead and start off. Season 2 is, I think when we were going in, season 1 did an outstanding job of building itself. It's standing alone by itself. It didn't need the help of any other characters. It established itself as an independent Star Wars show for the most part, with little to no outside help. Then in season 2, we started hearing that we're going to start having encounters with established and well-known characters. And I think there was a lot of fear out there that the show would maybe not do as well, or that would depend too heavily on those characters. I think Dave and John this season have done an outstanding job of mixing the two together and using the Mandalorian as that jumping point for the new series to spring off from, and have done a very good job of maintaining the soul of the Mandalorian show while bringing other characters, established characters in, and jumping them back off again, especially in Ahsoka's case. So for all these reasons, this season 2 is an A+. I didn't think they could beat season 1, but they did in my book. So season 2 is, in my opinion, better than season 1. Johnny?
Oh, so we're doing seasonal grades too. I think, this did exactly what a really good season 2 should do, which is they start off introducing kind of like what the show is going to be about, what the tone of the show is going to be. And season 2, we've continued that tone somewhat. If I had to say, like, overall arc-wise, if there are any low points, I think for me it would feel like Mando wasn't as dynamic as he was in the first season, because we saw more of him overcoming kind of his hatred and prejudice against droids, which I always thought that was a nice little touch about him in season 1. But it's a minor nitpick, because ultimately what season 2 was about it wasn't so much about developing him as a character as it was expanding the universe. And damn if that show did not do it well, like episode after episode. I mean, Frog Lady and her eggs aside on the frozen planet, I mean, this season did not have very many low points, and it kept us interested. It kept us asking, who is this person, or what's going to happen here, or well, what possibilities does this have? And that's not even among people that know Clone Wars or the other animated series like that, but just casual viewers like me who we watch it and we're like, this is everything we've wanted in Star Wars for decades, and we are finally getting it. So the season 2 is definitely an A, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Like I wonder what season 3 has lined up for us, now that it seems like most everything's almost tied up pretty neatly, with maybe a couple small loose ends here and there. But I think it's going to be interesting to see what kicks off season 3.
Okay. That's fair. Brian, what do you think? Season 2 overall. Oh no, we lost him. Yeah, your mic.
Is he muted?
No, I don't think he's muted. I think he's the charge on his mic's gone. We've talked too long.
Sign language.
I'm going to assume Brian would say A+. Is that correct, Brian? Yes, it is. Okay, so we got an A+ for Brian for season 2. So sorry, B. Sorry, man.
Wait, so we don't have to explain it?
Huh?
We don't have to explain it?
Yeah, just give us a quick grade for season 2. A+?
Just A.
A, okay. We got an A from Gabby. All right. Well, if you want to find out where else you can find 4 Midwest Guys, if you like this and you want to know where else you can find the best place to go real quick, guys, is www.4midwestguys.com. That's www.4midwestguys.com. All of them are listed in as they're released, and then you can also go to each individual show. You can go to The Mandalorian if you only want the Mandalorian shows. If you want another podcast, you just go to that show. It's all listed there. You can follow, like, and subscribe. All the links and to all our channels: YouTube, Podbean, we're on everything now. I made sure we were on iHeartRadio. We're there now. We're on Spotify. We are any major. For the audio versions of our podcasts, you can find there, and you can find us on YouTube as well. So we're there as well. But you can it's all at www.4midwestguys.com. If you like just Facebook, it's facebook.com/4midwestguys, at 4midwestguys on Twitter. You can find Brian on Twitter and Spotify at AngZone. You said
Spotify.
Stardust. At AngZone, you can find me on Twitter and Stardust at bwilly1977. If you like the behind-the-scenes photos and whatnot, that's our Instagram account, which is the number 4_Midwest_guys. If you like just good old-fashioned emails, 4midwestguys@gmail.com. And we have a brand new thing, fan voicemail, 1-859-363-5952. You'll hear my voice. Just leave your name, who you are, and what you're talking about. And if we like it enough, you'll find yourself on the air. So there you go. And
all right.
Oh, Brian's back. Okay.
I'm back via different Skype.
Through a different Skype. Okay.
I jumped onto my iPad.
Oh, okay. All right, Brian, do you want to tell them a little bit about your 859 drifting real quick, or no?
Oh, yeah, Gone Through the 859. It's my new YouTube channel. We do some unboxed videos in there. The post office is being very slow these days, so a lot of the stuff we had planned on doing that I've ordered has yet to come in. But as soon as that comes in, we'll start making some more videos, and then we'll get my dad hooked up. The GoPro just got here, so we'll get my dad hooked up for some of this Gone Thrifting videos and get some more content out there for everybody. But yeah, Gone Thrifting 859.
All right, excellent. And Johnny, I know you're still thinking about doing the movie Masochist, right? I know we'd pick number 78 possibly, or 70, whatever it was.
Oh yeah. I'm also considering changing a bit of the format of that too. Watching the Queen's Gambit, kind of, yeah. I binged like all 7 parts of that miniseries of the Queen's Gambit, and
it was a good series.
Convinced Ang too. Yeah, it's a chess series.
I think I might have finished it before you did.
I think you did, yeah. And it reminded me how much I missed watching something inspiring and something good. And
yeah.
I started thinking, it's like, I see plenty of crap movies in my lifetime, but I also have a ton of like great old movies in my library. Like, you guys have seen my DVD library. There's a few in there I haven't seen that I bought with the intention of watching. So I might just, dig through there to unearth some classics, some old ones, and just say, hey, I could use something good and inspiring. So I'll give that a go.
All right. So maybe inspirational movies or movies I haven't seen. Okay. Well, we look
subtitled.
There you go. Subtitled. All right. Well, we look forward to that. That's for sure. So, all right. Well, Gabby, who's falling asleep on me, thanks for joining me.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, glad to be here.
And Johnny, thanks for joining us, sir. Appreciate it as always. And
Anytime.
Absolutely. And I'm your host, B. Willie, saying until next time, may the force be with you always.
Also with you.
We lift up our hearts.